Corey, come on.
No. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Corey, come on.
Corey? No.
Everybody should be on the stack. Everybody should be on the stack. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. What do you need to do, guys? What do we do, guys? Landing the stack. Landing the stack. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Somebody brought the handpipe. Somebody brought the handpipe. Now, if I may, I'd like to call for a committee announcement. Now, if I may, I'd like to call for a committee announcement. I'm working with mediation process group.
Making progress, coming up with some options for mediation processes. We'll be meeting again at 4 p.m. Under the Sheriff's Hotel. In one of the packed food courts. On Roots of the Bay. To continue the discussion. If anybody feels that they have something to add to this, come out and join the discussion. Tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Any other announcements?
Next is Des Moines.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I'm honored to be here for the first General Assembly.
I'm honored to be here for the first General Assembly.
I have been following the movement intensely over the past few months.
I've been following the movement intensely over the past few months.
And I've been supporting in my own way.
By
Donating food and material goods.
By donating food and material goods.
I am delighted to be part of an organization called Knit
.org.
It's a film festival that runs documentaries
It's a film festival that runs documentaries
about social issues once a month.
about social issues once a month.
We are a non-profit,
We are a non-profit.
and we support the Occupy movement globally. I am delighted to announce a documentary on Thursday.
I'm delighted to announce the documentary on Thursday.
The U.S. versus John Lennon.
The U.S. versus John Lennon.
One
One of the finest
social activists of our time.
social activists of our time.
I am also honored to announce we are raising
I'm also honored to announce we are raising
$500 to support Occupy Toronto.
How much?
500.
Nice.
And we are going to also be screening first time worldwide
And we're also going to be screening for some time worldwide
the Occupy Revolution is Love documentary.
the Occupy Revolution in Love documentary. By a local Canadian filmmaker. On Thursday at 6:30 p.m. At the Rainbow Cinema. Across from our old home, St. James Park. I would like to add that I've got a box of pamphlets.
Hey. Off the wire. What are you doing?
Help.
What are you doing? plugged in?
Yeah, she didn't hit anything.
No, it's okay. Okay, she didn't know.
About this process of supporting Montego. We are offering free a desk to organize your activities. Through Mint Film Festival. Thank you very much for all of your
Next we have Adam Jones.
Hi guys. Just a reminder. Faces of Occupy. I will be creating a Google group. Called Occupy Toronto Faces. I will do this as soon as I can. For some strange reason I wasn't able to do it before I got here. I think that's because Google's changing their look. Please contact me at adamjohn@gmail.com until that group is posted. Regarding Occupy Faces. Innovation. John. Today.
Hi, folks. Just like to announce that the Housing Committee is going to have an action on the 15th of the month. Right over there at that beautiful Christmas tree. For all the homeless in Toronto. Invite your friends. Invite your enemies. Even invite Rob Ford. Everybody show up. We're looking to have food. Good times. And good fellowship.
What time?
12 o'clock.
Thank you.
Not 12 o'clock, not midnight. Not necessarily. That was the time agreed.
Okay, next we have Crystal.
Hey
everyone.
Taylor and I are
presenting
on Wednesday at an event called Design and Occupy. Design and Systems for Ecosystems for the Future. It is, again, this Wednesday starting at 7. At the Center for Social Innovation. At 720 Bathurst Street.
Which is at 720 Bathurst Street.
And we love you guys to be part of the audience. And brainstorm the future with us. Thank you.
Next we have David.
Hello. The Action Committee. It's Thursdays. And Sundays. At 5 o'clock. This Sunday. We will be starting earlier at, I believe, noon. Till 4. To brainstorm strategies. For the coming year. There will also be a meeting at 5 that day too. This Saturday, there is a march that starts at St. James Park. 3 o'clock. We are marching to the Don Jail. It is for the crime bill C-150. Later that night, there will
Fifth floor.
Yeah, fifth floor.
You gotta go around the I'm gonna knock on the lights. Reason, thank you. Well, that's why we're doing it, so we don't have to watch it. You can understand what I'm saying, please.
Next we have Brett.
Hi. I'm from the library. We had our first library committee. On Saturday. The GA. It went really well. I don't have a whole lot of concrete news yet. But I will say that things are looking very positive. We're not sure when the next meeting will be yet. I'll announce it at the GA. If you want to become a part of the library committee, or if you just want to hear what's going on before everyone else does, come see me. Give me your email.
So before I get to the last name, if you have more announcements, please raise your hand. And the last person, okay. And I have Nisha.
Mic check. Occupy PTC started today. It was really awesome. There was lots of people. And DTC police were even so kind to provide a welcoming party. We explained the action. They were very amiable. Just that anybody that occupied the DTC recognize that the drivers and the employees are on our side. Don't fight them. It's about coming together now. There will be more action. Stay tuned. You can find out more information at Occupy PTC on Facebook and Twitter, as well as Occupy PTC at GoogleGroup.com. Second announcement. Deputation. We're allowed to speak in there. Wednesday and Thursday. I've made a number of announcements already. I will be going tomorrow morning. To write down a list of all the people who want to speak on this sequential document that I have mentioned. So that we can combine our time. Talk to me later if you haven't heard this announcement already. For the final call is somebody wanting to be a part of that. If you're on live stream, email me, MIS, or occupy, MIS, gmail.com.
There's a clarification here.
What is your deputation? What day are deputation?
Deputations are 7th and 8th, which are Wednesday and Thursday of this week.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you need to combine time like 10 people getting 2 minutes each instead of 20 minutes?
What I mean is that because we get 5 minutes each, and they like to cut it down to 2 minutes, if we created an agreed upon text beforehand, addressing all of our issues, one, it provides unity, and two, if somebody gets cut off, the next person just quits, walks right out
Misha, your email is already out there.
Yeah.
We put it down. People know.
Yeah.
Right? Your email's down there.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm trying to include live stream as much as I can.
Good. Thank you.
There's a lot of people who are still living on the streets. There's a lot of people who are still living on the streets. And they don't have food, they don't have shelter, they're getting rained on. They don't have food, they don't have shelter, they're getting rained on. And yet I agree it's getting better here. But we're still not making any decisions or action on how we're not making any decisions or action. I'm not done. Is this a committee announcement or is this a proposal? Well, does it have to be a committee announcement or a proposal? Well, yeah, right now it's a committee announcement. Well, he said that we're going to announce this. What section of people get to speak in this? Proposal. So everyone's clear. It will have committee proposals, committee proposals, individual proposals, and then a speaker's list. Is that cool? Thank you. Are there any other announcements? Just to follow up, Joy's announcement, for anybody who's interested, it's on advance tickets, that are cheaper than the door price. It's $10 for students, and $12 for adults. And I would say $10 for amplifier. You can come to me. While I'm here. Or if you don't have the money today, you can email me. Or ask me for my phone number. Point of clarification. What's the door price? The door price is $13 for students. And $15 for adults. I know this sounds like a lot. But there is music. Comedians. And a short film on Occupy. Documentaries. And a post-film panel discussion. And it's a fundraiser. And we're non-profit. This lady on Mark. Yeah, right here, man. Hey guys. What's up? Yes, I need a couple friends. Who want to put in? To rent to buy a house. $800 a month. What's that? That is all. Not TV if you want. You guys growing. I don't want to see.
Oh, man.
This Paul. I am Paul. And I'm with Occupy UFC. Quick announcement.
One more for Mark. Yeah, anyone finding this stuff in a store in my head before you got addicted? I'd like to get my fucking shit back in here. That's all.
Point of clarification.
What?
What got taken by the cops?
No, they're taken by some fucking loser who thinks it's cool to go into other people's stuff.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, but when people take my things, I get kind of pissed off. And I swear, I don't care. Don't touch my stuff. Ever. Cool. Well, kids, do not touch my stuff.
I'd like to remind everyone that there are children present. And that we all should maintain a civil tone.
Civil tone.
And talking to each other. We're all on the same side here. We're all friends.
Except for the people who touch my stuff.
If I may, I'd like to remind everyone that there are at least 60 people here. When each of us speaks for 2 minutes, we'll be here for 2 hours. We'll also be awesome. Point of clarification.
There are 103 people here.
So let's speak for 260 minutes. And then, Ray has an announcement. Ray.
Mic check.
My name is Reagan. There's a website it's here for everyone, especially the homeless, to speak their voices. In a free internet environment, it's a homeless nation. Not war. I'm Roy from Peterborough. We want to start at Occupy Peterborough. General Assembly in Peterborough on December the 17th. We have a good group to start. Thank you.
Home of the Crow. Peterborough.
Just a quick announcement. If you have trouble projecting your voice, speak as a feeling. Because it will make your voice project more. Everyone can hear you.
Voice from Peterborough.
Roy from Peterborough.
Voice from Peterborough. Where is the meeting? What time is the meeting?
The General Assembly, and we don't know when it is. I'll let it occupy Toronto. We are having a press meeting.
Protected.
Next Tuesday, the 13th, at 8 p.m. at the Peterborough Public Library. Join us if you can.
Anyone else for an announcement? Please put your hands up. Okay. Proposal.
Well, I know I said that we would move into proposals, but we we kind of made a promise to ourselves. At last night's GA. And I would like to hand the floor to Brad to begin that conversation.
Hi everyone. I'm sure many of you are aware. Of the drama, for lack of a better term, surrounding the finances in the park. So I would like to call upon those parties involved to open a civil discourse, emphasis on the word civil, in order that we can move past this and get it done. Are all parties that were present last night, who said they would be here tonight, currently present?
And who was that?
There was Claudia, Brian, and everyone else on the finance committee.
Brian's here. Can you repeat the names? Mic check!
Mic check! Is Brian here? Brian, I see you there. Is
Brian
Claudia here? Seriously? Oh, you are here. Okay, good. Anybody else from the finance committee? Could you please make yourselves known?
Who wants to go on the speakers list? And who wants to go on the speakers list? Having people who know how much money they have to step forward, identify themselves, and give us a dollar amount. And then we can go from there as we began to.
Before we start, I have one late, quick committee announcement.
My name is Michael Vesey. Of the former Logistics Committee. I'm here now announcing the formation of a new committee. Tentatively called the Rebel City Committee. This committee is dedicated to off-the-grid sustainable technology and being portable in order to demonstrate walking lightly on the earth. With Rebel City Committee,
is already working with an existing non-profit organization called the Ripple Effect. You can access information about this at ripplerelay.ca. Very quickly, I'd like to have Michelle make a quick introduction from people who are associated with Ripple Relay. Okay, there's my 2 minutes. That's the announcement of the new committee. If you have questions about Ripple Relay or the intentions of this committee, if you have questions about this committee or the Ripple Relay, please see us after the GA. Myself, Michael.
My name's Michael.
And this is Michelle in the red with her hand up over here. Thanks for the time.
And now, without further ado, the financial debates.
So who's...
Mic check. Hello. My name's Brian. I have sole access to the P.O. box. Through that P.O. box, we have received just over $4,000 money orders, checks, and certified checks from individuals and Rocket Hub, in which we did our crowdfunding. All of that money, safe and secure. I will hand over that money once our issues are resolved. Tonight, I had hoped to practice silence, but as necessity has it, I have to speak. Firstly, the process of the General Assembly is, has, and always will be, in my mind, the governing decision-making body of the Occupy movement. This was established before Occupy Toronto, by Occupy Wall Street, in who we emulate, and why we are occupying Toronto. Without this, and their support, and their efforts before our occupation, I would know none of you. To not respect that, to me, means you do not wish to be a part of Occupy Toronto. To me, that does not sound like such a crappy compromise. Seeing as your opinion, your voice will still be heard. Secondly, to not respect that process and go beyond the jurisdiction of the General Assembly is an insult to myself and to what I believe every person who follows that process and assembles here every night at 7 p.m. outside City Hall. Of course, there are times when actions by individuals, working groups, committees do not need consensus. That is a situational fact. But to me, our most vital resource, and one where we garner the most amount of support to continue, are our finances. And to me, all finances and financial decisions should be reported to and dictated by the General Assembly. That is all I have to say tonight. Jonas. My name's Jonas. It's been very disappointing watching the shenanigans of the finances unfold over the past several weeks. It is my opinion that the Finance Committee should be in charge of the dispersal of funds for Occupy Toronto. And that the real power and control rests with the General Assembly and the committees. The Finance Committee should be little more than a human ATM. That's all. Next we have Stephen.
Hi, I'm Stephen. I just want to say I agree with both people who spoke already. I also feel that immediate action needs to be taken. That if someone decides to take that action, and it has been later agreed upon by the GA, then it's good. If anybody has better ideas for action, they should be brought up at the GA as a proposal and voted on. That is all. Thank you.
Next we have Michael.
It has become increasingly difficult to carry out the original plan for finances. Several alternative ideas have also not worked out. I don't like using an account that we never agreed on, nor did we agree on who that account is part of. Another organization. Because it has become so difficult for us to get around this problem, we're now looking at alternatives which also really aren't working out. So we might try to set up an account under a different name, but still using the original procedure we had intended, which would make it our own account. That may no longer be possible. Because the mess up the first time may mean we can't do that. So, if we have to go to additional alternatives, it may turn out to be something like setting up an account that actually is controlled by someone else. But at least if we do that, we should choose who it's going to be. At any rate, we don't have any clear alternatives. But I'm totally against using the account that exists.
Ben. Hey guys. I'm Ben. I want to say that if we're going to move forward, we need to seriously consider what happened before, which is that individual people, and they were actually all men, thought that they knew what should happen with the money, and that they didn't trust the collective, and I'm not blaming them now. I'm just saying the new system we develop has to take special care for that happening again. And I would seriously consider we take Iceland's lead and put women in charge of the finances.
Okay.
Mic check. I think it's important to note it was not only men. There have in fact been raised specific issues with specific women. So I really think this is a matter of people, not of gender. And I think we should take that into consideration as we move forward, that we go through a process that leads us to trust individuals regardless of gender. Though I know lots of lovely ladies.
No, I'm David.
That was my clarification.
I'm Liz. I was Liz. Logistics. For a few weeks. Those people who donated money said to us that they believed in us. We have a responsibility to protect that. We must vote on this matter through the GA. One individual is not cool. It has to go through the GA and it has to go through the people. Because that's what we're fighting for. Thank you.
Are you going to speak?
Okay, my name is Michael. And I work internally with logistics. Since day one. When a man named Wilson dropped a cardboard tent at my feet. And said, "This is for logistics. Does anyone know how to build it?" I understood the concept of logistics from helping to organize an outdoor music festival called the Ulm Reunion Project. Most of what I did through logistics was based on a structure that myself and many other people are familiar with. Some of what I may have done through logistics could in part be explained because I was acting as though more people understood this system than actually did. The system of finance is set up through logistics. Was set up by me and 5 other people who happened to be present on the 3rd day of the occupation when I had to go to sleep. And the question came up, what about all that money duct taped in a recycled Tim Hortons box on the table of logistics? At this point, a woman, Taylor, arrived at the logistics desk and said that the money was going to go into a collective account to be decided on by the people. So for the first 3 or 4 times I was present for the emptying of the box, and when the box was emptied, well, I wasn't there. Taylor took the money off site. I think most of the time, with at least one other person, and some accounting about what was counted out of the box, visually in front of at least 5 people. From this point on the 3rd day, every time money was counted out of the logistics box, and it wasn't until the 2nd week that the box was actually locked. There were 5 people present who signed and dated the amount of money, and in most cases, the exact bill count that came out of the box. It was then signed and dated and written who took the money and the exact amount that they took off site. I myself took off site more than $2,200, and some of that was spent through a process that we had established to keep the camp moving. In the early days and from the first week, after the 3rd day when we counted the money first, the camp began deciding to spend some of the money. This wasn't always put through the GA. And the system we had in process was that if you needed to spend money on something, you were to go throughout the camp, each of the committees, and give everyone possible a chance to block your suggested donation use. If you got no block to your use, you came back to the logistics desk, and on the honor system, reported that you had no blocks. It was then signed and dated. The exact use of the donation and the exact amount of money. It was then counted out of the box on the desk, or in some cases for a couple of larger amounts, out of the box I had at my house. This is why I took more home than the $2,200 that was counted out of the box at my house on the day of eviction with 5 people who signed, dated, and witnessed the exact amount in my possession on eviction day. Now, since the day of eviction, we have not had access to our process for approving donation use. So I've committed to returning the $2,200 to the DA's Financial Committee, exact as it was on eviction day. I think that's it.
Point of clarification, also, Brian, we have a point of clarification. Do you still have all of the documentation that you referred to?
That documentation has already been photocopied.
That documentation has already been photocopied.
I retain two photocopied versions. The Financial Committee, specifically Stephanie, has a photocopied version. And all of the originals.
Thank you. Just a point of process. Jenny is joining the facilitation team for this meeting because some of the facilitation team may find that they need to put themselves on the speakers list. In the interests of decorum. Perhaps.
So, mic check. I was just going to suggest. Looking at the time. That first. We give a big thank you. To the people who have spoken. And increased our transparency. I think that was really important for us all. Being mindful of the time. I would suggest that we go through the following steps. One, if more people have money, that they would like to say that they have, we would do that. Concisely. Then we would deal with our main issue. Which is with the bank account. Try to make a decision about that. And then make a decision about where all the money that we now know exists is going to go. And how that's going to work. Does that seem reasonable? Twinkle fingers if yes.
Any blocks? Awesome.
So does anybody have money that they want to say they have? Please say so now.
Anybody else have anyone aware of someone else who's not here that has money also? Maybe they can help.
I have money. I have 50 cents.
Oh my God. He's not okay.
Clarification. Money of Occupy Toronto as a whole.
Okay, point of process here.
Point of process. Point of addition. I received an email from someone who wanted to come to the GA but is afraid of dogs, especially when they're off the leash. So they came to the General Assembly and left. That is all. Let's continue with the process that Jenny just suggested.
Thank you.
Does anyone have Occupy Toronto money
that they would like to tell us about. I have in possession
several $100s left over from what Taylor had acquired from the logistic box. How much receipts for the rest? I didn't check.
And there's receipts for the rest.
But has receipt for a many to account for the rest.
Mike, check! One more time.
But also have receipts accounting for the rest.
Sorry, what's your name? Wilson.
Yeah, I have two Brians next. Okay, I have one Brian next.
It seems from the last few days on live stream, there's a lot of confusion about the bank account.
Just a point of process, before you get to that, we were talking about exact amounts and who has the money. Just a point of process. Just a point of process. We agree on it.
Anyone else have money?
Thank you. Much like Wilson, I also have several $100 left
Of the food team money. And receipts for the rest. Once we can work out the tumultuous issues with our bank account, with Claudia, and everything else, we will submit to the GA's process.
about 6. Okay, last on finances, I have Luigi.
It might be most relevant
to turn the floor over to Claudia. So that we can hear. I don't want live stream in my face. I don't need to take the camera out of my face.
I have a point of protest. Point of protest. Isn't Claudia on the speaker's list? Are we all taking turns? Point of information. Mic check. I think it's more important. We're having a discussion about this issue. That people that are directly involved in this issue are able to speak about it. And people that want to know what's going on. Ask what's going on. If it's still unclear. After all parties involved. And at the chance to say their piece. Blood Québécois.
What's
Write down your resentments on paper. Share with a friend. so Claudia wants Brian to speak before her. Okay. All right. What? Did you hear from Brian about media's money?
We already did. We did.
It seems from the last few days on live stream, there's a lot of confusion about the bank account. I would suggest at tomorrow's Finance Committee meeting, anyone who is interested attend. And we get the facts about the bank account before we proceed.
Let's go. Okay, where's the block? I don't see the block. We have a block.
First block, go ahead. Drop that.
What?
We have had numerous debates and conversations in the Finance Committee about this exact issue. We've heard the facts. It's time that the people who assemble here, who are expecting help through the Finance Committee, meet to find homes, and do the work we can do to hear those facts. Here. Constantly going behind doors is exactly what I'm here to fight for. Again. Cronyism. Yeah. Like that. It was tried to do this in the Finance Committee. And it was at the request of individuals involved, as well as the General Assembly last night, that this be addressed at the General Assembly. Therefore, I cannot think of a more appropriate forum.
Oh.
Honestly, I try to cover.
Mic check.
What is my check? My check. I would like to cover more the big picture of this phenomenon. Understand this is a phenomenon that. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? Shorter.
Mic check. Everybody can please keep their own conversations to a minimum. Or take them elsewhere. So we can hear the speakers. Please continue.
Okay. Okay, I just want to more talk about, try to see the big picture, to put this event in a big picture. It was born on the wave of the Tunisia when the guy lightened up himself. So it's about freedom and some justice. Now, I wish you guys, I encourage you guys to get over these things of the finances, because it is going to be just a trap to slow all the process. And it's a damn contradiction, Toronto, such so much potential to get money, it's paralyzed, and look how many we are by this thing. So I encourage people to go to school, to do propaganda going to school from the age of 12 or any age, and what does it exist?
We get it. And we need to hear from the next person. That's all right.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Thank you, Luigi.
If everybody
Unbelievable. Come on, Zach. Maintain the court. No screaming.
Just a point of process. Claudia has said she is willing to answer any questions. I understand that to mean she will speak when someone asks a question. So let's have the questions. Go to the speakers list. Okay. Put up your hands. Put up your hands. Mic check. Okay, Isha? Yeah. Before we do that, there's a point of process. Never mind. Okay, and Thomas withdrew the point of process. My question is whether you are willing to close the bank account tomorrow morning, as this was agreed upon by, I believe it was Saturday's General Assembly.
Yep, it was.
It is not up to me to close the account because I have in as much rights and privileges as the 5 signatories on the account. I agreed if there was consensus to remove myself as one of those signatories. And I will do that because there was consensus that I be removed as one of those signatories. And I have told you that I will honor that decision.
Careful.
And everyone else is. And Michael Kennedy. Off the account.
Point of information. The proposal that was passed at the GA in front of 50 people was not to remove someone from the account, but to outright close the account, which then we can open an autonomous sovereign account at the same credit union. My question, if I may just tag on a question, why was an individual told that you, Claudia, and I'm not trying to be rude, I just want to figure this out. Why was a person told that you did not respect the GA's decision? That's all I want to know.
There's a point of clarification first.
That is not true. I spoke to Misha and told Misha that I would honor that decision. At yesterday's General Assembly, it was decided that no further action would
would be taken until this GA. And until we had this open discussion. I do not feel safe with Brian Batty's presence here. He has been...
White check! White check! White check! White check! Point of process! Point of process! Regardless of how you feel, it is very important that we listen to each person as they speak. And despite your disagreement, that does not give you the right to interrupt anybody. Please, let's be respectful. We are doing this collectively. Let's take a deep breath together. Point of clarification.
Mike Jack. What was your safety concern with Brian being here?
What would Brian Boitano do?
Were you fearful from violence? What exactly are you afraid of in regards to Brian Batty?
I would prefer not to disclose that. It would create another unsafe space. I will address that matter in a different space.
It's my understanding, with general consensus around issues of anti-oppression, that it is improper to out someone who can be considered a victim. So in that case, this personal issue needs to be dealt with in a sensitive manner, and not right now. Let's move on with the issue, with the issue of finance, but let's recognize that a safety concern was raised, and let's facilitate this in an appropriate manner.
Point of integrity. Let's just remember that we live in a society that recognizes the supremacy of the rule of law. And it's important to remember that someone, regardless of an accusation or allegation, is innocent until proven guilty. And it's not fair for people to have this subconscious fear on something that could or could not be base or baseless. And since there's no clarity, if you're going to raise a safety issue, then call a spade, and not have this be some shady deal. Because women do this all the time to men.
We're having right now. B, I remind that this is a respectful space. Please use respectful language. And stay on topic.
Okay, I have 3 points of clarification, possibly 5. I have Steve, Dick, Brian, Antonin, and who else? Okay,
Okay, I'm Steve.
My point of clarification was for Brian. So I'd just like to make it a point of information. There's a lot of confusion surrounding this bank account. I'd also like to say that there's consensus that at least some account must be open. Can I get a show of fingers if that's true? Seems to be pretty true. I'd also like to say that anybody opening a bank account that is representing a group must do so under very specific circumstances. I'm not an accountant or a finance person, but I'm under the understanding that those circumstances are twofold. One is through a non-profit. The other one is through an incorporated entity. That's all.
Okay, we have Michael with a question.
I'd like to pose the question. If you feel you're qualified to answer it, please have a show of hands. And maybe a facilitator could select one. My question is this. If we have a unified financial committee, and an approved way to access or spend the money we have, does it really matter if we only have 1 or 5 different accounts? Who can answer that and tell me why? Okay, the reason for this question is I don't understand why it's such a big deal that Claudia opened an account. If we have a unified vision of how to spend it, and stops to protect it from being spent wantonly, why does it matter if we have more than one account? That's my question.
I would like Lev, or if Wilson's putting his hand up to answer that question, one of those two members of the finance committee. So, Mike Jack.
The one reason.
Well, not the one reason. But one of the reasons. Why we can't have multiple accounts. Is because there's legal ramifications. With association to all these accounts. Now, also, in regards to opening a second account, we might consider it. However, it's still a problematic thing. To have another entity. Have an account. Called Occupy Toronto.
Okay, with that answer to the question, I'd like to know if we have any blocks or problems. Closing any existing accounts. Starting afresh. An account we all agree on.
Okay, we have a clear agreement. Is Occupy Toronto a trademark? Yes or no? Well, that means any one of you guys can go to Occupy Toronto. No one can stop you. The point I'm trying to get at is that we need to do something collectively. And sitting around here bickering about minutia doesn't get us anywhere. What I'm also saying is that the point is we need to go forward.
Now we essentially agree
to close the currently existing account.
Close the existing account.
So, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I can move it forward. I want to make a
Mic check.
What additional steps
need to be taken
to
close the account so that we may do that? Would you please clarify for us?
You could please clarify for us.
And can everyone else be quiet, please?
Okay.
This gentleman out of law?
Claudia, please. Question has been asked. Claudia will answer it now.
Before that, Brian did have a block, so Brian should speak before me.
This is real quick. My understanding is that closing this account and opening the new account will change nothing or very little. The account as it stands is under the control of the Finance Committee. It is not associated or under Regenesis. If the account is closed and a new account is opened, it will be the same relationship with the union that it now has with Regenesis. And this should be clarified before this decision is made.
I would like to remind us that it is incredibly difficult to make sure everyone's voice gets heard when people are in the middle of the circle, when people are interrupting, and when people are not actively using the people's mic. So please add your voice to the people's mic so we can hear each other and so that this is a bit easier to facilitate.
I've got everyone else down, believe me. I've got Claudia's next.
Okay.
Indoor voices, guys.
Mic check. I did unilaterally open up a bank account as an association, and I utilized letters of incorporation and letter patents from my not-for-profit organization to give Occupy Toronto association rights
in order for Occupy Toronto to operate as its own legal entity and have a not-for-profit bank account. I apologize for not bringing this to the GA. But now we have to decide how we're going to move forward, how we're going to have a sustainable financial system, sustainable bookkeeping, transparency and accountability. Accountability. If mic check, I will honor removing myself as a signatory Wednesday morning. There are still 5 signatories left on the account. At tomorrow's Finance Committee meeting, I will invite those signatories to attend so that we can have a safe discussion on how to move forward. And I invite your participation. Now, if there are no more questions for me...
There is. You haven't answered the question of closing the account. No, you didn't. Are you going to close the account is what the question has been posed 10 times tonight.
Mrs. Swain is going to take herself off the account, so the
But
remaining...
the question is, she's the only one that can close it. She's the only one that can close it.
Yep.
She hasn't answered the question.
If you're going to take something from live stream, please do a mic check so we can all hear.
Mic check. It has been asked. At least 3 times here. And a million times on live stream. Why Claudia refuses point blank to answer the simple question because she's the only one that can do this. Will she close the account? Yes or no?
It is not up to me. Clarification. First, I would like to ask that Shangar not point the camera at me.
Give me that.
There are 6 signatories in total. 5 on Wednesday morning when I removed myself. It's common understanding under any bank account that all signers must sign off on the account. I will invite them to participate at tomorrow's Finance Committee meeting.
I'm getting 10.
Are there any more questions for me?
Again, she refuses to answer.
I can hear her answer on live stream.
I'm almost out of batteries.
After that, I would like to allow other people information or clarification speak to those
An association is not a legal entity. So if an account was created as an association, then it was not created. On the other hand,
Unplug it from the other side. Unplug it from the other side.
was created as part of another legal entity. And the legal entity
Cannot do everything.
As the GA, was to close the account. So what we learned tonight is that Claudia is one of six of that puzzle. But because what we decided was that we wanted to close the account. That decision
Just in the
applies to all the signatories.
Do you follow me around?
Including Claudia.
Do you follow me around? Huh?
I would suggest
Hmm?
that it would be helpful
No. No.
and to get a voice from them committing to also helping to close the account
So that we're dealing with people. Real people. Not ghosts. Not imaginary people. Because we already know that we agreed to close the account. So if it's okay, before we take the other clarifications and information, if someone here is a signatory, could they please let us know? And could the signatories here let us know who the other ones are?
Lex, who else?
Can they come forward and
Can we see?
For this one time only. Go a little bit inside. So we can see you. And know that you exist. Thank you. I understand that.
Where are the other?
Taylor. Michael. Raphael.
Leonardo.
That's it.
That's
Is that it? Or Chantal. Is Chantal on the account?
Who's missing?
Chantal, you're also on the account. Oh, no, Cynthia.
Clarification. There are several people signed up to the signatorial. However, they did not recognize them being Alterna until we provided minutes as documentation that recognize the signatorials. Right now, Lex, me, Chantal are on these documentations, which is a minute from one of the finance meetings. However, somehow Claudia and Michael Kennedy are also part of this list. I do not know how or why Alterna recognized them with signatorial power with no documentation to prove such thing.
I have one for her.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to answer.
I thought you were asking for the signatories of the legitimate accounts.
Yes.
Are you one of them?
Thank you.
Okay. And like, who are the other three?
Michael and
That's one of them.
It's important that you use the people's mic so that everyone is hearing the information. So let me reiterate.
mental health.
Mike Jack. Back at St. James Park. After the first finance committee. The decision was made by the GA. That the GA would select the signatories on the account. I think in moving forward, we should honor that decision by the GA when picking new signatories for the new account.
Okay, next clarification is Dick.
I have clarification. It was in response to what Wilson suggested that I somehow have superpowers. Mike check. Okay. I am just another signatory on the account. What Wilson is referring to is that minutes are missing to give to the bank managers on recognizing who the signatories are. Right now, the way the account is set up, no withdrawals can be made. It's a deposit-only account. And the signatories know that because the bank managers addressed it to them. Now, I am cold and tired. It's past 9 o'clock. I would like to adjourn the meeting. And I will excuse myself at this point. Any questions, you can send me an email. Okay? Lorraine.rodriguez@gmail.com. I have been here for 2 hours. I would like to go home now.
Mike Jack! 2 hours. Mike Jack!
The only thing
you would really need to do before you could go home is perhaps reaffirm the decision that this account will be closed and all signatories accept that and will be carrying that out.
Okay, for note takers, if I believe, can someone take notes? Secondly, we have.
So can we do that? Can we check for consensus on that? Yes or no? Are there any flaws to that proposal? Which is that we're closing the account. That all the signatories understand that and will actively carry that out. We have a clause. 3 clause. Can we hear those? And also, do I hear your name?
You're here.
Can you, yeah, you want to speak?
Like a horse.
I would like to say the decision was made at Saturday's GA to close the account. So what we can do now is to amend that the signatories, all 6 of them, work as hard as they can to honor this decision, but we cannot decide again to close this account. We already did.
Thank you. That is a better phrasing than I was able to concoct. I'm also tired and cold.
So we have Mike Jack, we have 3 blocks and an addition.
Addition goes directly what was said.
Okay, and addition to what was directly just said.
Mike Jack.
I would just like to point out that those six signatories are supposed to be working in our interest. And so if we make a decision, it's not up for debate. Make it happen. Close the account. Those are your instructions. Move on.
Okay, so
I have a block. It's just so quick. I just want to say, if the account is to be closed, let's please come up with a solution. Not just point out the problem. That is all. Thank you.
block here. Mic check. Mic check. I'm now blocking the Assembly's decision to close the account. I just want to bring this up. Claudia's decision to open an account unilaterally was not a malicious one. She had a good intent behind it. She was simply frustrated at the thought that the account has not been set up from day one. She was just trying to protect the name Occupy Toronto. Because anybody here or outside could have set up that account and hijacked the name.
Thing you can do. When we're bringing a proposal to consensus. Which is. Stand aside. Which. Another person. The first block. Agrees to do. Which is. You register. That you are not totally. On board with the consensus. As it stands. But you are not. Blocking it from moving forward. Also. You should probably note. What was said. Which was that. The GA. Already consents. To close the account. We had a point of addition.
How long will it take to open a new account? I am personally involved in 2 charity events coming up in January. I just need an account. In January? And I just need an account. How long would it take to open a new account once this one's closed?
It takes about 20 minutes to open a bank account. Even as a business. I just did it today. That's how long it took.
Point of information.
How are we going to elect trustees for the new account?
Point of clarification. The Financial Committee has already established a long and transparent process for all of our financial engagements. Trustees were chosen as long as 4 weeks go back. My English is gone. Those trustees have been re-endorsed on 2 subsequent occasions, and the process for spending and receiving money has also been endorsed
on 3 separate occasions. Further questions about this, I would like to direct to the Finance Committee so that we can consent on this and move on, appreciating all the time everybody has put in and recognizing that it's time to move on.
Misha, when and where is the Finance Committee meeting?
Tuesday at
Boise?
Did anyone who has any power in this movement, myself included, that's so because we seized it. A polite way to say this is we saw a vacuum. And we filled it with ourselves. But there's been no selection process for any of these people who are even being called leaders. Gone through the GA.
Where?
Clarification for me. Alright. Mic check. My question for Misha. That's rather reaffirming.
Yo, this is why GAs are kind of a waste of time.
Because the GA already decided back in the park that these trustees have to be elected by the GA. That was all to the premise.
Voices not being heard, and probably some bad feelings. So, if you want to speak, be on the speaker's list. Let's make our circle a bit smaller. So that it's actually a circle. And so we can hear each other. And stay warm.
Point of information. Claudia has left. On her way out. She was directly asked. Whether or not she would close the account. If every other signatory agreed. She walked away.
She already said that she would do it. In my belief. She said she would remove herself.
Literally, the only thing we can do right now is hope that she will stay true to her word, because we've made it clear what we're asking for, and she said she would do her part on Wednesday, and that
Ask the other signatories
to do the same at the Finance Committee meeting, which we can all participate in to reinforce that message.
Excuse me for interrupting again. What Claudia said. She would remove herself. Wednesday morning. So we have a specific time. We can check. If she did so. If she kept her word. There's no point. In believing or not believing. If she's going to do this. Or speculating in any kind. Thank you.
Point of clarification. To what he just said? Remember, folks, mic check. The Finance Committee meeting is tomorrow afternoon at 2 on the 5th floor of OISE. So why do we have to wait till her decision Wednesday morning?
Point of information. Because we have a meeting at Alterna on Wednesday.
Thank you.
That's as accommodating as the Occupy movement when scheduling meetings.
Thank you.
Can we close this, gentlemen?
Next is Adam. Hold on. Mic check. Okay. We've got a lot of announcements and proposals on this sheet. Excuse me, you're all attending the General Assembly. Someone is speaking, and I encourage you all to give him the respect that you would want. Thanks. We've got a lot of people who want to bring forth things. I've got a whole bunch. If you could put it off till the next day, and if you absolutely can. Can't hear you. Mic check. If we can put off some of these things on this list, then we can adjourn immediately. But if you cannot leave here without saying a thing, then carry on. Okay, I have Nick, I have Dick, and then Adam. So you can say pass.
Those who don't have a voice don't get to speak. My clarification point is what Brian said like an hour ago. My name's been called 3 times. I have been cut off. I can't speak. Normally I can. I have more respect for those who can never. And we also be aware of that. After Saturday's GA, and I said this at Saturday's GA, I saw Claudia outside the circle. I asked her if she wanted to address the GA. What she said to me was that she's having other GAs at St. James Park. She does not recognize this GA or respect its decision. Brian was speaking of me when he heard someone say, thank you for letting me clarify. I wish she was here. I did say it to her as she was leaving.
Okay, next is Adam. No, next is Adam.
Mic check. My question was for Claudia. She's left. So I'm not going to ask it.
She left. I have a question for the GA. Are you
waiting for people to speak to Claudia. Shouldn't we be moving on to proposals? That issue is closed.
If people wish to not speak when I call their name, then they cannot speak. I'm going to call their name. Anthony is next.
Point of clarification for the facilitators, I guess?
Point of clarification for the facilitators, I guess.
So we've agreed that the account will be closed?
So we agreed that the account will be closed.
Is that a yes?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
That's a yes, folks.
Okay, Yuri?
I have another question, maybe. Totally unrelated. But Saturday was brought up that today there would be a proposal, and the proposal was that there would be 2 decision-making GAs per week, and I wonder what happened to that proposal since it's not here.
Can we end the GA? Can we end this?
Is that it got late tonight? Because we were dealing with other stuff.
Okay, I have Brian on the list.
Which Brian?
Brian with Trolls? No, which Brian? Oh, no, yeah, this Brian. Okay.
Okay, that's a pass.
Okay, so next is Crystal.
Crystal?
My concern is the tension that I'm speaking, she's not here. But my voice still needs to be heard. I feel that Claudia, by having GAs at St. James Park, and by basically thumbing her nose regarding her comments online and to other people, that she doesn't respect us anymore.
I don't respect her anymore.
How can we move forward as a movement if that happens to be without her? She doesn't want to be part of us. She's an adult, she can make that choice. So maybe we should start planning on how to move forward as a General Assembly. And as Occupy Toronto, without her. Just a suggestion.
Okay, so I'm cutting off the speakers list with a ton of names, so you're all still on it. And I have, it's Peter. Peter, I apologize. Sorry. With a point of.
It was an addition to what was just said. Mic check. I went to St. James Park last night to find out if there was really another GA. There was about 10 people. Maybe. And some food. And a good mood. When I pressed the issue as to whether this was a GA or not, I was told it was not a decision-making body. And that Stephanie and Josh had been sent to last night's GA to liaise as though this were a breakout group or a committee. That's all.
Yes, we're all adults.
Yes, we're able to cause strife with each other. And I think it's more important moving forward that we establish a culture of mutual respect. We can all be jerk-offs. that we can all be angels. Every human being has the capabilities of being Mother Teresa and Adolf Hitler and everything in between. So it's important, in my opinion, that we try to be more like Mother Teresa. Because she's cool beans.
It's 9:30.
I'm freezing my balls off.
Thank you.
We're not skipping the proposal then? Is that...
Mic check!
The way it's been done in the past is that we try to observe a 2 hour time limit on GAs. When we hit 2 hours, we ask if people want to continue or if they want to push the agenda to the following GA. Perhaps now is the appropriate time for that question.
We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Okay. Sunny is lit. It's next.
So, what I'm hearing is that there's some disagreement about how we should have done this process tonight. I can only personally apologize, and I do, if I facilitated in a way that made people feel badly or excluded. What do you want to have happen now?
I think it's in our interest that we talk about the other 4 proposals. Because we are here. And we don't have a camp. We have a bunch of other stuff that we need to do. I think it's important that we move forward. And we've given the Finance Committee its basic directions. We understand that crap happens. Let's keep moving.
Okay, here I had an addition to Crystal's point.
We're dropping the finance. I just wanted to know if Claudia would make an account. Can everyone do that?
Yes.
Mic check. So Claudia can make an account. Later on, anyone can use the same thing.
No one can hear you.
Another account.
Say that again, no one heard you. Mic check!
Can everyone stop talking and stop mic checking, please?
It's very much like how we have 100 million Facebook Occupy Toronto
Account. Pages.
If Claudia can use that account and use the name of Occupy Toronto can it happen later on as well? Are we registered? If we are registered, then no one can.
If we are registered, no one can.
But if we are not registered, then anyone can.
If we're not registered, anyone can.
Point of information.
Mic check.
I can speak to your questions and queries. On the
the account information.
On the account information.
Anybody can go to each individual branch, or at least each individual institution, and if they have an NGO or a non-profit, they can then open up an association account called Occupy Toronto, or called Occupy Brown Cows. Now, we can easily go to Meridian Credit Union. Mic check. We can easily go to Meridian Credit Union. And open up an account. Called Occupy Toronto. In association with OPSU. Or CAW. And et cetera, with each and other institutions. We can only protect our name. By incorporating. And or trademarking. The trademarking takes a long time. And is not cheap. Incorporating as a not-for-profit. Which incidentally is a proposal that I haven't made yet. Is probably the best and cheapest way to occupy that name. Sylvia?
There's been two proposals. Both of them involve cutting off this finance discussion. One of them involves moving on to the 5 other proposals that are totally separate. The second involves moving all 5 of those proposals to tomorrow night's GA and ending this GA.
Just point of information regarding all of that. Last night and the night before, we knew this discussion was most likely going to take up the entire time. I personally don't think we should still have this discussion. Because we made a decision 3 nights ago. But who cares about decisions anymore in this place? No. I understand. But I still think and support moving to next night and letting anyone else who wants to voice their opinion about the finances, regardless.
Okay. Plug it in. Stop. Plug it in. Give me the thing. Right here. Oh.